3 appearances shy now, setting the LSU pitching appearances record. And Fontenot sends the first pitch wide of the mark. 1-0 here to Justin Bench, who was 0 for 4 in the first game with a walk and a strikeout. He's been the Rebels' leadoff man the last month or so. He has reached in 14 straight games. That was a big win for Ole Miss. They get to 11-14 in league play, 29-19 overall. They are running out of time to pad the resume, build the resume as it is for the NCAA tournament. Whack to the left side. Drew Bianco backing off. Shows off his arm. And against his dad's team, records the first out of game 2.
That's a nice play, too. I mean, we talked about this is a guy that started center field last year in the Super Regional. He's caught last weekend. He's literally played everywhere on the field. Just does a nice job of making himself look like he's an everyday third baseman. Backs up on this ball, takes his time, sets his feet, throws a strike. What a valuable asset to be able to put a guy like that anywhere and feel comfortable.
And let's be honest, defense has not been comfortable for LSU at large this year. In fact, .961 is their fielding percentage. Last in the league. Charging here is Doty. And they get a couple of quick outs as Jacob Gonzalez rolls out here for the second out.
Yeah, for a defense that has been much maligned. They have played a lot better. You know, they're fielding about .970 in league play. It's like .960 overall. But in SEC play, they have played better. And a couple tough chances there to start. And the sinker slider from Fontenot, the sinker certainly doing its job here early with a couple topped ground balls.
Here comes the Ole Miss captain, Tim Elko, the senior out of Lutz, Florida. Had a home run in game 1. His 40th of his career, his 18th of the year. It came in the 5th inning with 1 out. And at that point made it 5-2. 92 miles an hour from Fontenot, and he sprays it foul.
He's got a major that has my interest, a master's in sports analytics. Like the majors, the offerings have gotten way cooler since I left school. I'd even sign up for that class, Clay. Or major or whatever it is.
Your major was what? Sandbox?
My major was trying to get a good jump off the pitcher. You?
I was communications,
oh, okay.
I guess.
What happened?
Yeah. Thinking of going back to school. How do you think that would be?
Hey, a second career can sometimes do people well.
Just like Rodney Dangerfield, right?
No respect.
2-2 to Tim Elko. Fontenot quickly getting 2 outs. 3 innings is his longest start. So like I said, won't see him long in this game. They just want him out front for game 2. That just missed, and it's a full count. This crowd's going to be a little more animated, it sounds like, here for game 2. It was an early start for the resumption of game 1 at 11 a.m. Central Time. We're starting to file in here now. Payoff pitch. Elko chased it up.
Well, this crowd is keenly aware of what's on the line for this team as they try to solidify their hosting resume. And again, as we talked about a little bit last game, not just trying to be a regional host, but a super regional host, because the numbers are definitely in the Tigers' favor when they play a home regional and super regional.
This one hit hard down the line, and that is going to sail out. Goodbye home run. Just a blazer to right field, 4 rows up. Second home run of the day, 19th of the year, 41st of Tim Elko's career, and it's 1-0.
Hey, now. I mean, that was a rocket off the bat at Tim Elko. It hit about 6 foul balls off to the right field side, and he finally flattens out the barrel and just hits a missile into the right field seats, and they don't accept right field seat homers at the box. Uh-oh.
And now Kevin Graham taking it deep. Goodbye, gone. Home run, Kevin Graham. His 10th of the year. Back-to-back homers against Fontenot here in the first. Is this a team that is playing with desperation? I would say so.
Desperation, momentum, energy, and just a sinker that don't sink, Clay. Those usually get hit a long way. And Kevin Graham, folks, is in fuego. 2 home runs on Sunday, 1 home run on Tuesday. A homer here this afternoon. Flew out to the wall last night. A scary lineup playing at a very high level. Back-to-back jacks here with 2 outs in the first.
And this one hits Kemp Alderman, the DH. So Fontenot got Bench and Gonzalez quickly on groundouts here in the first inning. Then back-to-back homers, and now he hits Alderman.
Just a breaking ball that gets away from him, right? Just a loose bender. He's trying to flip it in there for a strike and backs up on him. Man, things have spun here on Fontenot here in the first.
Here's T.J. McCants, who's 1 for 4 in the series. Throw was going to get up at some point in this game. I just don't think Jay Johnson wanted to see his big man up in the first. There's a strike to McCants. T.J. McCants, draft-eligible sophomore. He's had a bit of a tough year. He had 1 hit in the first game, 1 for 4. Swung on and missed. Nothing in 2 the count to McCants, who again is in center field.
Yeah, they are trying to get McCants going. I mean, he's kind of him and Chottier, Dunhurst, that group of hitters down there at the bottom. Too much talent to struggle as long as they've been. It looked like he got it going last weekend against Missouri. Hadn't quite got it going here yet this weekend.
Stays up 1-2. Hayden Leatherwood would hit next. Ole Miss in that first game, 5 runs on 6 hits over 2 days. As rain suspended the game on Friday night, we picked it up at 11 o'clock this morning here today. Swung on and missed, and Fontenot is out of the inning. Louisiana, where he was All-State last year, has become a fixture in right field in recent days.
Yeah, this is kind of the next guy. If you talk to Jay Johnson, obviously they got Jacob Berry and Dylan Cruz. Berry, who's out today, but feels like Pearson's got a chance to be the next Tiger star.
Pearson was 0 for 2 in the first game with a couple of walks. We've got 2 guys over there at first base. Again, LSU not known to run. In fact, just 16 stolen bases on the year. That is the fewest in the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, neither one of these teams do much in the way of swiping bags.
One down as Pearson goes down swinging. First strikeout for Elliott. That'll bring up Dylan Cruz. Cruz, I think, was better in game 1 defensively than he was offensively, and that is even though he hit a 2-run homer.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he hit a bomb, an oppo bomb, by the way, on a breaking ball. That was, make you say wow kind of moment. But then he put the athleticism on full display as well out in center field. He was everywhere.
Cruz in game one, the 2-run homer. And 4 trips to the plate. Did strike out his last time out. But he is hitting .417 against left-handed pitching this year against .315 against righties. Swung on and missed.
There's that changeup we talked about. You'll see against the right-handers, it'll be a steady dose of fastballs in and out and turning that changeup over.
Two and one to Cruz. From South Carolina to Louisiana, welcome to Game 2 between Ole Miss and number 17 LSU. Alongside Chris Burke, I'm Clay Matvick. You've joined us just in time to watch Dylan Cruz, who's at the plate, the reigning co-SEC player of the week, I should say. Tigers dropped game 1 of this series over 2 days because we had rain last night in the 3rd inning. 5-3 the final, a big win for Ole Miss. And that is ball 4, 2 on here for LSU in the 1st inning as they trail 2-0 after a couple of homers by Elko and Graham. Here's a look at the SEC West standings. And LSU still in the mix to win the SEC West Division. Ole Miss picking up their 11th win in the league earlier today, and that's important because they're trying to build their resume to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yes, and I tell you what, the Auburn A&M duo chasing Arkansas are 2 clubs to definitely keep your eye on. A&M just kind of has that magic going right now.
Yeah.
Another big comeback win to disappoint them, definitely. The RPI in the 40s and, 3 games below 500 with your conference record is not a good spot to be come Selection Monday. So scratching and clawing to stay alive.
This is Cade Doty, the cleanup hitter and second baseman for LSU. Was 0 for 4 in game 1. One of 4 Tigers with 10 or more homers. This is a ground ball. Could be 2. The flip to second for 1 to first. Double play. Ole Miss is sharp as a razor blade today. Offensively and so far, he wins the last time they missed the NCAA tournament, which was 2017, and their RPI was 37. So it gives you an idea of the work they have to put in yet.
Yeah, I mean, they know what it's like to have 14 wins on Selection Monday and not get in. So that'll be uncomfortable. Really the way you're getting in with 14 wins is to have an RPI in the 20s. And, some of this RPI stuff's over my head, but I'm just going on, historical data and what the guys at D1 and Jeremy Mills, our great researcher with ESPN, tells us. And they would feel better at 15 wins. Let's put it that way.
1-2 to Leatherwood, and he strikes out. Devin Fontenot got the first couple of outs of this game and then labored the rest of the way in the first, but a good start here in the second. 1 down for Peyton Chatagnier. Chatagnier 0 for 2 in game 1 with a couple of walks. Yeah, I really like the way Ole Miss is playing right now. Remember last night, they got down early. Dylan Cruz hits the 2-run home run right away in the bottom of the first, and they could have laid down. They're in the box. It's been a tough place for Ole Miss over the years to win games, let alone series. And they didn't do that. They came right back the next inning, scored 4, never looked back. And that was a game that was played over parts of 2 days. DeLucia was outstanding, finishing that start. Goes 7 complete. And I just think that things are starting to come together at the right time for them.
That's what it feels like, certainly. And the 4-run rally to get them going last game was with 2 outs. 2 outs and nobody on. So starting to do some things that make it feel like their time is here.
Devin Fontenot, fifth-year player. His 108th career appearance at LSU. The starter was to be determined for this one. It's also to be determined who it'll be in Game 3. Okay. 3-1. Walked him. So, grad transfer from Arizona, native of Fresno, California. This one is launched to deep right, and this is going to go. Goodbye, home run. Hayden Dunhurst. They have been waiting for him to crank up, and he's got 5 home runs on the year now. And Ole Miss has a 4-0 lead. Their 3rd home run of the game.
Man, it's just coming, Clay. It is coming with this Rebels team. A hanging, breaking ball sitting right in the middle of the plate, and Hayden Dunhurst gets extension and gets through that one. They are making it look small to right field right now. This Rebel lineup starting to play like the offensive juggernaut we expected them to be.
This is popped up by Justin Bench. This is going to be a tough play. Looking into the sun is Pearson. He will make the out. It's to the ballpark without anybody noticing.
Well, he didn't bring him.
Well, I'm not saying he did, but somebody did.
You think so?
I think so. Somebody brought that in. How's it going to get in there? You and I have been to that ballpark several times.
Yes.
It's not easy to get in there even when you have a pass.
I don't know. I do not know. The Rally Possum got in here.
Jordan Thompson leads it off here for LSU.
All I know is that dude earned some real dude points with that. I don't know about you, but raccoons at my feet, my instinct is definitely not to grab him by the neck. Yeah. You?
Why? I probably wouldn't either. I'm more afraid of snakes than raccoons.
I just wouldn't even know where to start with that. I mean, he's got him by the neck like he's got a whole house full of them as pets or something, as comfortable as he looked.
Hunter Elliott's pitch. That's a called strike 3. Second strikeout.
None whatsoever. I mean, I guess if you go at the raccoon, you're probably not going to be alarmed when it starts trying to bite you, but I don't know.
My guess is that this guy's an expert raccoon
That's
hunter.
what it looked like.
Yeah, he's probably got coon dogs, and he's probably hunted these things his entire life and knows what he's up against.
He definitely looked comfortable. Looked like Dylan Cruz in the batter's box. Very comfortable.
Strike to Trey Morgan. Morgan was 0 for 4 in the first game. The LSU first baseman still with a brace on that right leg, which was hyperextended sometime back, but we understand that's going to be coming off fairly soon. It's pretty close to 100% now.
Yeah, it's got to be uncomfortable to play with, but he's been doing it now for a while.
Goes the opposite way, snared by Bench. Justin Bench has been outstanding at third base this weekend, had a great diving play earlier today in foul ground for an out, and now that one to take a hit away from Trey Morgan.
We talked about how Drew Bianco you can put Drew Bianco anywhere. Justin Bench is exactly the same way, and not only was that fantastic play, but the positioning was perfect right there in that 6-hole to take the hit away from Trey Morgan. Well done.
Now, how do they say that? Handy as a shirt pocket. Justin Bench, you can put him anywhere.
I've never heard that before, Clay, but
ooh, that hit him. Tyler McManus turns away. LSU, they do that a lot. They take a lot of hit by pitch. That's the 95th time. Number 1 in the league. 4th most in the nation. Goes off the hip of McManus. A 2-out base runner here for the Tigers in the second. Now Drew Bianco getting the start here in game 2. He's in the lineup at third base. That's where Jacob Berry normally plays, but he's out with a hairline fracture in the finger of his right hand. Well, comebacker. Elliott's going to make quick work of Bianco, and the Tigers strand a runner, but go quietly in the second. SEC Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. More 5G bars in more places. How about Drew Bianco on the first pitch he sees here in this game? Gets a changeup.
No, I mean, you know who calls the pitches for Ole Miss, right?
His dad.
His dad calls the pitches. Now, you think at some point, like, Drew gets a little, hey, Dad, come on. It's 2 outs, a dude on first base. I haven't been playing. I'm hitting under 2. Like, can I get a heater? You think he ever gives that to his old man?
Yeah.
You know, like, can I have $20 before you go out on a Friday night? Like, can I get a heater on the first pitch? No?
Come on. This is the SEC. It matters more, right? I don't care.
Just one fastball to start the day? Come on, Pops.
Tim Elko, a home run. His second of the day, 19th of the year, 41st of his career, his first time up. Ole Miss has 3 homers today. Elko, Graham, and Dunhurst. Dunhurst was a 2-run shot last inning. And we were talking to Jay Johnson. He said, we've got to keep the Rebels in the park this weekend. They average 1.7 homers a game. That's 18th most in the country. And they haven't done that, especially in this game.
No, it's, Jay Johnson had a good feel for what was in front of him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He knew that this Rebels team was very, very dangerous, and he felt like his offense was really going to have to keep up.
Elko in on the hands a bit, pushes it out to deep right center field. Despite not getting all of it, Cruz runs it down.
Just makes it look effortless out there. He looked like he was in mid-flight the second that ball was hit. That ball's going to one-hop the right center field fence, and he caught it easy.
Of course, Jay Johnson coached against Ole Miss in the Super Regionals in Tucson last year. So, and it's essentially the same lineup as was in the Supers last year. So Jay Johnson really didn't have to do much scouting.
No, and when you play somebody in a Super and it goes to 3 games, nobody respects them more than you do. And so there was a healthy fear of this Ole Miss lineup coming into the series, and that has proven true as they have come out swinging the bats very aggressively.
Kevin Graham now with 10 home runs on the year. This was the solo shot in the first. He hit 10 home runs 3 years ago and, of course, was a freshman All-American. Last year hit a career-high 14, and if he hadn't missed a month with a broken wrist this year, he'd probably have 14 already this season.
Yeah, no doubt. And, 37 career homers. He's got a chance to join that 40 home run club himself.
Base is empty for Graham. The lefty Cooper is 1-2. Riley Cooper came in, and with 1 out and a man on, first hitter he faced, Hayden Dunhurst, hit a 2-run shot. He'd given up 1 home run in 29 innings before that. Gives up a homer on the first guy he faces here today.
Again, we talk about these kind of goofy things that you need to have. Maybe not goofy, right? But outliers, right? You think about the rain out last night that gets Mikhail Hilliard off the mound. You end up giving him his first loss in a couple years. Riley Cooper gives up a home run, which almost never happens. It's got that feel to it right now for the Rebs.
2-2 just outside, full count. LSU is another lefty they really like, Jacob Hasty. 3 appearances last week, couple of wins over 6 scoreless innings. As that one is flared down the line and left, it's going to get in for a hit for Graham. Boy, he has really swung it well.
This dude can hit, man. Dude's a barrel. Kevin Graham is a barrel waiting to happen. So we already saw the big boy homer to right center, but how about just watch this, increase the spine angle, go down there and get it, release the top hand, just slap it into left field. Very Tony Gwynn-like right there with just kind of a backside liner on a fastball down and away.
Not trying to do too much.
Not trying to do too much. And the at-bat right after it hit a bomb to right center field. That is just beautiful to watch.
That's his 4th hit of the day, 2nd of the game. One out base runner for Alderman, who was hit by a pitch his last time up. Alderman was 0 for 4 in the first game. We really haven't seen him get too many good swings off today or last night. Had a good series last week against Mizzou. Just waiting to get started again here this weekend. That's not going to do it. 2 down. Is game 2 any different from the way the ball is, carrying here today? It looks like the flag's blowing straight out.
Yeah.
And now there's not a lot of breeze.
No.
But it is blowing out.
Yeah, what little breeze we have is now helping, right? As it looks like it's picking up just as you bring it up there, Clay. Wow. But, yeah, last game it went from blowing straight in to blowing across towards right. And now it's blowing out a little bit. Never quite know what you're going to get here in the Bayou. Things can change quickly.
There's Graham at first, 2 outs. T.J. McCants at the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. We're going to be talking with Dylan DeLucia coming up. Boy, what an outing for him. It's a 2-day out. Started on Friday, ends on Saturday, goes 7 strong innings. It was just a really dominant performance at times.
Yeah, no, it was. Right up until he left the ball game, he had it on cruise control. Didn't give up a hit for 6 innings after the first.
9 strikeouts is a career high for DeLucia. The 117 pitches were over 2 games. So it looks like it's a really high number, but you got to take that into account.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, but he's done that before. And he's had 117 and 118 prior to today, so he's no stranger to a big workload.
Do you think Mike Bianco agonized over that decision much, or was it pretty obvious to him that's what he needed to do?
Yeah, I think at this point in the year, I think he really trusts DeLucia's judgment.
Ground ball should end the inning. That won't. Cade Doty can't make the play, and there is 118 against lefties this year. 2 hits and 17 appearances at the plate. Struck out his first time up. That was against the right-hander Fontenot.
Now this is a perfect time to do the first and third steal that Vanderbilt did the other day. So you got lefty on the mound, first and third, 2 outs, right? Both runners steal as the pitcher lifts his leg. If the pitcher picks to first, the guy who steals at third scores easily. If the pitcher throws home, the guy at third puts on the brakes, and the guy at first gets to steal second base. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position. It's almost an indefensible play. It doesn't look like the Rebels have anything in mind, but think about it. You got a guy up to bat who's 2 for 17 off left-handers. It's a great time to try a little. You don't get many opportunities in baseball to try trick plays, but this would be one of them.
The 1-2 pitch. Got him. And Cooper will not only stay in the game, but he'll come to you and say, hey, we are going to go with you to start today as well. Was it last night or was it today, this morning?
So he walked up to me last night, and he was like, listen, I'm not going to pressure you into pitching tomorrow. He's like, it's your game if you want it, if you're up to it, but you have to be honest with us how your arm feels. Woke up this morning, went to breakfast, and just my arm felt really loose, and I was like, Coach B, I'm good to go.
So no throwing involved with that. You just knew when you woke up.
Yeah.
all good. So let me ask you something. As your role switched from bullpen to starter, what's the biggest difference for you as far as that's concerned?
Relieving was kind of hard, I felt like. I mean, trying to figure out when I was pitching, when I was going in the game, coming in with guys already facing 3-4 times maybe. It was something I kind of just couldn't figure out for a little bit. But starting, I mean, I've been starting since high school. I've always been a starter, so going back to that role, I just felt way more comfortable, and I was in control of it.
Well, Hunter Elliott just got a strikeout of Hayden Travinski as he's going to face Gavin DeGoss. Now, Elliott, the freshman, looking really sharp today as well.
Oh, Elliott has been sharp all year. I mean, this kid came in just a straight dog and wanted to battle, wanted to fight. That was the good part about him. He wants to be out there, and we want him out there.
So let me ask you something. You hang a breaking ball to Dylan Cruz, and he goes big boy on you to right center field.
Yep.
And then you got all night to kind of sit on it and think about the adjustments you're going to make. Did you change up the game plan at all going back out there this morning?
Not really. Just don't overthrow. That's all I kept on telling myself in the dugout was just don't overthrow. Just pitch like you know you can, and just let your stuff work.
I know you guys have had your ups and downs.
Yeah.
But it feels like you guys have it rolling right now. Kevin Graham looks like he's locked in. What's the mood around the team specifically with getting Graham back and watching him swing the bat the way he has here last week or so?
I mean, watching Graham is crazy. I've said it since the fall. Like, that kid, even though I faced him a bunch of times, and he still says he's 0 for off me, but that kid has the best swing I've ever seen in my life. Like, his swing is so smooth, it's so unique, and I love everything about it. Come on.
Ooh, it's going to leak through into left field. Bench laid out and made a nice attempt, but Dugas has his second hit.
So you said you owned him in the fall. Are we on record? Can we say that?
Yeah, he actually came up to me after the game. He was like, some of your balls just have run to it. Like, what is it? I forget. It just runs, and then some of them sink. And I'm just like, I was like, sometimes I just put more pressure on different fingers to try to make it run up in the zone or make it drop. So, and he was like, I still can't figure it out.
One out, the man on here for Josh Pearson as we're talking to Dylan DeLucia, who was the Game 1 winner. It took him 2 days to complete the game, but he got it. That's never happened before in your career, right?
No. The only time was JUCO last year. I threw on Friday. I threw on Monday, started. Forgot how many innings I threw. Got the win in that game. And then Friday we played. Come on.
That's going to get Dugas to second base.
Friday, I came out of the pen. We were in a tied ball game. I think in the 10th or 11th. And bases were loaded. I got 3 pitches, 3 outs. And I topped out probably at 82. I didn't even warm up. I said, Coach, I'm going in the game right now. And then I turned around, started on Sunday in 9 innings.
Wow.
Yeah, well, so you've done it before. You're no stranger to that. So let me ask you something. Everybody knows how cool it is, what you got going on at Swayze and just kind of the vibe around being an Ole Miss baseball player, as Jacob Gonzalez makes that look silky smooth.
Yeah.
What is, first year, first run through being a Rebel, what's the coolest thing, whether it be on or off the field, about playing baseball at Ole Miss?
Wow. That's a hard one. This year has been probably the best college experience I've ever had. I mean, with these groups of guys over here, this coaching staff, I mean, they made it special for me. And how
about a football game day? Give me a football game day. You're a Rebel baseball player. What do? You all have your own booth? You got
we do.
Okay, so you got a baseball booth at the Grove.
We'll set up 2 tents in the middle of everybody. And then our parents have
They do the food?
Oh yeah, we go over there every game day.
All right, so we got what are we eating there? What, like, take me inside the tent. What are we eating?
Mostly Chick-fil-A. They'll have chicken. We'll have a little chicken nuggets.
That's not special. Come on.
I was thinking something maybe a little grilled.
Well, they will. Will Dunhurst's dad?
Will. Now, speaking of Dunhurst, that's going to get away from him again, and now Dugas is at third.
No, they'll boil up some crawfish and stuff like that, some jambalaya.
There you go.
That's
where
more
we go.
That's what we were expecting.
I'm not big on the crawfish, but I'll eat some jambalaya.
Well, Hunter Elliott now seeing Dugas at third base. After a couple get back to the screen, he's got Dylan Cruz at the plate. This is a guy you got to tread lightly with, Mr. DeLucia.
Yeah. No, yeah.
What 100%. Do you think here? Changeup? 2-0 changeup right here? First base open?
I'm saying...
Up 4 runs? What do? You challenge here? You probably challenge.
I'm challenging.
Here. Yeah,
I'm challenging with a fastball.
No. Changeup. I'm thinking with Coach Bianco here. Just put him on, try to pitch to the next guy.
Yeah. I also played with, what's it called? Doty in high school. So,
you did?
Yeah.
Does that mean Ben McDonald was your coach?
No, I played Canes with him. So I was traveling with him, and I was like, oh, Doty's in the lineup. Sweet.
Well, they're going to end up walking Cruz here. So now runners at the corners, and the aforementioned Kate Doty coming to the plate as we're talking with Dylan DeLucia, native of Port Orange, Florida. Tell everybody exactly where that is.
It's like 10 minutes away from Daytona Beach, and then like right in the middle of New Smyrna and Daytona.
Okay, so what's something we don't know about Port Orange? And the volumes probably are endless.
I would say there's a place called Disappearing Island. It's just a little island during high tide. It disappears, and that's where that's where all of us go when we were in high school, college, stuff like that. When we're home, we'll go there, get on the boat, and go straight there. Like, that's something that's huge in Port Orange.
Now that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So are you a bit of a beach bum?
I don't like the beach. I don't.
What?
I don't. I don't know why I don't like the beach, but I do like the boat. That's the good part. I love going on the boat, having a good time with friends, stuff like that.
They'll even let you eat Chick-fil-A on the beach.
I know. They need to put a Chick-fil-A on the beach.
There you go.
That would make a killing.
So here we go, 2 on, 2 out, and we're talking with Dylan DeLucia, who was amazing earlier today. How are we attacking Cade Doty, a guy you know?
I think, he flew out 3 times versus me?
Well, you got him to wrap into a double play in this game. Hunter Elliott did, and then against you, you tied him up pretty good.
I know fastballs. Come on.
Oh, do it.
Good.
Just in time. Boy, Justin Bench has been outstanding, Dylan, for LSU. Third pitcher to work. Fontenot started, Riley Cooper, and now Grant Taylor. Peyton Chatinier, Hayden Dunhurst, and Justin Bench, 8, 9, and 1 here in the 4th. Ole Miss has really dominated the day.
No, they absolutely have.
And here's another base hit.
They need to see that from Chatinier.
Chatinier on for the second time, as he leads off the 4th with a solid single. That'll bring up Dunhurst.
Well, Chatinier walked. Dunhurst hit a 2-run homer. Of course, McCants hit the bloop double to get them started yesterday in the 2nd. They're starting to get some production out of that bottom 3rd.
And you got to wonder if Graham had stayed completely healthy, and if Chatinier hadn't gone into the funk he did, if Dunhurst hadn't gone into the funk he did for about a month. Maybe there's another win or 2 or more on the resume for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, look, but again, there's time left to change the narrative, and swings like this will certainly do that. A bullet into the right field seats off a hanging breaking ball from Riley Cooper to tack on a couple more for the Rebs.
Now, just because Riley Cooper has been used in this game doesn't mean he can't come back tomorrow. He's that kind of guy.
Sure.
That's set 97 on the gun from Taylor. Ball under strike. left-handed hitting catcher. Now 1-2.
Hey, now.
That's 98.
97, 98. Let it rip, Mr. Taylor. Weather's warming up. Dudes are in full lather and letting it rip.
Struck him out. So Chatnier gets the hit right away against Taylor, but Dunhurst gets his feelings hurt going back to the dugout. One away.
97, 98, 97. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. 3 big-time heaters to erase Dunhurst for the first out here in the 4th.
Grant Taylor, freshman out of Florence, Alabama, the 2021 Alabama Class 7A Player of the Year. I can see why. This guy is gifted. Does not look like a freshman. 6'3", 220 pounds. It's been a tough day at the plate for Justin Bench. He is 0 for 6. With that said, he's played well in the field.
Oh, he's been amazing in the field. Just everywhere, all day long. Ranging to his left, catching pop-ups. It's been impressive. Just that play last inning to get him off the field, that's a play that's going to be really tough for the shortstop to make. And you talk about one of the shortstop's best friends, which is a third baseman that's not afraid to get rangy to his left.
Now 3-0. Walked him, 2 on and 1 out. And you've got Tim Elko looming, Kevin Graham looming in this order. He's got to deal with a tough out here first, Jacob Gonzalez.
Jacob Gonzalez.
Gonzalez 0 for 2 in this game. Ground out and a fly out. Ole Miss, I'll say it again, they are getting it going none too late after kind of a June swoon that happened in March and April. Had a 13-2 start. We're number 1 in the country about 6 weeks ago. Things are coming together. They're now 16-17 since being ranked number 1 in the polls. They've been out of the rankings the last 4 weeks. They go to Arkansas State on Tuesday, host Texas A&M in the final regular season series next week. That will be important again for both schools.
Oh my goodness, no doubt about it. There is so much still up in the air. I mean, it's crazy. We only got, depending on which SEC school you're talking about, 4 or 5 games left in the regular season, but 4 or 5 games here or there is a huge difference in what these teams' postseason resumes look like.
Taylor comes set. Here's a pitch, and that's a strike. Their throw from Travinski nearly gets away, and that's been a problem for LSU. A lot of balls that have kind of found their way into the outfield. It didn't happen that time for Travinski, who gets the start behind the plate. But Jay Johnson was talking to us about that.
Yeah, both teams, really. I mean, Dunhurst has thrown some balls away. LSU's kind of made some errors in a variety of ways, but Chatnier kept that one in play. If it didn't hit him in the ribs, I think that ball was destined for center field.
Gonzalez awaits the 2-2, sprays it down the line, and it is fouled. Late call there by Michael 23. And Grant Taylor spins back on Chatinier. Grant Taylor, very presidential name.
What number presidents?
Well, Grant was 18. Taylor, I'd have to think about.
All right.
Who do you anticipate that LSU is going to run out there for Game 3?
I think they stay with Hutton. That just feels like, Dutton, Samuel Dutton. That feels like the move. The freshman's kind of been going Game 3 for him.
We're being told that Zach Taylor was the 12th president. Ground ball back up the middle. This is going to score a run. Chatinier coming around. Going to third is bench. RBI bingo, Jacob Gonzalez. And it's now 5-0 Ole Miss.
That was
just one out. And 2 on. And this could be 2. No, Doty boots it again. A run will score. And the inning continues as Tim Elko put it in play hard, but certainly a ball Doty should have had, and he maybe should have started a double play.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're thinking 4-6-3 right there. A pretty hard hit, 3-hopper right at Doty. He keeps going down to his knee to field those ground balls, which I just think kind of locks you up and doesn't allow your hands to work quite as well. And that was a very similar mistake as to the one he made with McCants earlier in the ball game. And wow, what a missed opportunity for the Tigers to get off the field.
An RBI E4 for Elko. And now Graham up. And the way this guy is swinging it right now, he could really rip a hole in this game. It's 6-0 now. With one big swing, it could be 9-0.
Yeah, Money's given up 10 home runs in SEC play. So he's certainly been victim to the long ball this season.
Graham has 4 hits in the series, including his 10th home run of the year earlier in this one. He has got 4 home runs in the last 4 games. Boy, a lot has changed since the first inning last night when Dylan Cruz put LSU up 2-0. This place was rocking.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be one of those typical LSU weekends. But since that 4-run second for Ole Miss, it's been all Rebels. Graham upset with himself. Can't catch up with that pitch for Money. 2 down.
Yeah, it just gets caught fishing for a fastball out over the plate. That one's well off the dish. Graham tries to extend his arm, similar to the way we saw him get a base hit in his last AB, but comes up empty, and Money with a big second out here in the 4th.
Kemp Alderman came into the series as the team's leading hitter. He's been pretty quiet in this series so far. Hit by a pitch and a fly out today. Virginia Tech coming back to beat Louisville in Game 2 of that series in the ACC. Those are 2 teams that are in the conversation to be top 8 national seeds. It'll be an interesting Game 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, both of them still have a chance to be division champs in the ACC.
Georgia's going to salvage a game against Tennessee, it appears, because it's 8-3 in the 9th. And Georgia, their outlook has changed quite a bit.
Well, it's a big win, though, because, big difference there between 14 and 13 and 13 and 14, right? So go home to play Mizzou, and now if they're able to sweep and they get to 17-13, they'll be a host. Their RPI's top 10. And
yeah, I mean, could they conceivably get in the conversation, be a top 8 as well?
It's possible.
We're not talking that way now, but we could if they win today and get a sweep tomorrow next weekend.
Their resume is not as pretty as their RPI. Like their best series win is Florida, and
pulled down the line, and that's past Bianco into left field. Over the bullpen mound, it's going to rattle around in the corner. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score as Kemp Alderman delivers for the first time this weekend. A 2-run double, and it's 8 rip. Ole Miss.
How big is that second error now by Doty? This inning should have been over a long time ago. Instead, they've added 3 more runs. A bullet on a hanging breaking ball right down the left field line. And just had a feeling it was kind of Alderman's time. He'd been pretty silent in this series up to that point.
T.J. McCants, the 8th man to hit for the Rebels here in the inning. He reached on a Doty error last inning. 13 errors now for the Tigers' second baseman. You've got 16 for Thompson. That's 1 and 2 in the league.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm a guy that's as bullish as anybody on this team with their prospects of making it far in the postseason, especially when they get a healthy Jacob Berry back. But there are days when you watch them play defense, it's tough to picture that defense holding up in the big games in the tournament.
Kemp Alderman at second base after his 13th double of the year. 2-1 to McCants. And that is going to get into right field. Alderman being waved around. He will score. McCants driving in his 26th run of the year. And it's 9-0 Rebels.
Money just continues to have his problems in conference play. Came into this game with an 8.16 ERA in SEC play. 28 2/3. He had given up 42 hits. And again, could have gotten out of this inning with 1 pitch, but instead the Rebels have really kind of started to pour it on.
3 of the 5 runs unearned this inning. Outside and high to Leatherwood. Senior out of Colliersville, Tennessee. He's been streaky this year. Again, dealing with a bit of a hand injury. That's why he's been out of the lineup a couple of times here in recent games. Did not start game 1. Back in there here for game 2. A couple of strikeouts so far. Kind of think now that they're going to ride money as long as they can. They'll save Razelman. They won't touch Gervais. They won't touch any of their good bullpen arms because they're going to need those guys all hands on deck for game 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, unless their offense can really get it going, I don't think you'll see. And then tomorrow it'll be straight to the big dogs as soon as they can.
This is an offense for Ole Miss that found its groove against Missouri and Oxford last week. 25 runs on 35 hits, and it is carried on here in Baton Rouge. 9 runs on 8 hits here in Game 2. After winning Game 1 with 5 runs. Only had 6 hits, but they were big hits. Fly ball left side. Left fielder Dugas calling for it. That'll end the inning. But Ole Miss sends 9 to the plate, and they lead it 9-0.
Yeah, a ball that could have gotten them off the field, a double play that turns out to nothing, and then Alderman, McCants, and the boys start lighting it up. It is all Rebels, 9-0.
That's right. It's 9-0 now. Ole Miss. After they put up 5 in the 4th inning. It has been an offensive explosion the last couple of weekends for these Rebels, who are playing desperate. They're playing hungry. They know they've got to pack away some wins here the last 2 weekends to get that resume in tip-top shape for Selection Monday, which is fast approaching. That's on Memorial Day. And the NCAA tournament field will be announced. So here we go to the LSU 4th inning. Jordan Thompson, Troy Morgan, Tyler McManus, 5, 6, and 7. This is an LSU team that has 5 total hits in the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of them long balls that produce their runs. One by man up to bat right here, Jordan Thompson. But, man, just unable to get any kind of real momentum.
No.
Or any kind of big inning where they're consistently putting pressure on the Ole Miss pitching staff.
Swing and miss by Thompson, who struck out looking his first time up. It's kind of been the wild and woolly SEC West this year. LSU was picked 4th in the preseason poll. They've surpassed those expectations, I would say. Now, let's see how the rest of this series plays out. Besides Arkansas, which was picked to win the division, and they're in first place as it stands right now, the entire West has defied expectations. You look at Ole Miss. I mean, they were picked 2nd with Mississippi State. Both of those teams, you could say, have underachieved. And in the case of Mississippi State, they may not even make the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
And they were national champs last year. Now, Auburn and Texas A&M, you could say they have greatly overachieved, as this one is lofted to right field, and Leatherwood has it for the first out.
No, they have absolutely overachieved. And, you know, Auburn missed the tournament last year. A&M missed the conference tournament last year.
And they have a new coach.
Brand new coach. And you know, both those teams have done very well to be able to flip the script and find themselves now both in the hosting conversation. But, you know, I keep thinking about this Ole Miss team. It was a blink of an eye ago. They were 7-14 in the league.
Trey Morgan sends it into center field for a base hit, his first of this game. And his first of the series. One out base runner for the Tigers.
And the thing about this Ole Miss team from a resume standpoint, not only were they 7-14, but they swept Missouri, but then the really big win over Southern Miss in the midweek. And now, you know, you talk about some big wins to be able to come into the box and win a series if they can navigate the rest of this one. You can't ask for anything more if you're a Rebel fan wanting to see your team continue to play through the postseason. They have certainly answered the bell.
Can't ask for anything more. Isn't that a corporate slogan?
Maybe.
If it's not, it should be.
I think it's a country music song at some point.
Tyler McManus on the DH, hit by a pitch his first time up. The other thing about Ole Miss right now, they're as healthy as they could hope to be in mid-May. And that was a little bit of an issue, of course. We talked about Kevin Graham, him being out of the lineup, and how, you know, him getting healthy has really helped solidify the 1 through 9. The only exception would be their freshman reliever Riley Maddox. He's been shut down to have Tommy John surgery. But Mike Bianco's team is very healthy right now.
Yeah, they are. And I think physically they're healthy and mentally they're really healthy. It feels like they have roles, right? They've got their mojo back with their offense, and Graham and Elko playing like superstars and starting to get some legitimate contributions from the bottom part of their order.
'89 struck him out. McManus goes down, 2 away for Hunter Elliott.
You asked me earlier, Clay, what does it mean to say something plays up? Like that's an 89-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer third of the plate, and for whatever reason, McManus comes up empty. And certain guy, and the interesting thing is with Elliott, the TrackMan doesn't really say that it should have that much swing and miss to it, but for whatever reason, guys just don't square him up. There you go.
There was
Coach.
a fastball for Drew, huh?
There you go. There's your shot, Drew. That was it. Now all bets are off. I'm guessing a changeup's coming here.
Weak ground ball back to Elliott on the changeup he faced the first time up. That's the only pitch he saw before this at bat. There's Dad and son in the batter's box. And I'm sure Mom Cammie is watching from somewhere.
Yes, no doubt about that.
The 1-1 pitch. 70 miles an hour.
Do you think Mom sends a text like, hey, Mike, cut it out. Time for a fastball. I think another changeup. I'm reading the lips right here. Here comes another changeup. No mercy.
The 1-2 to Bianco.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah.
Runs and we're going to be set for the rest of the game and be able to keep competing throughout that game to hopefully get a win. But like I said, baseball's a weird game, man.
We're talking with Mikhail Hilliard, the LSU starter, as Peyton Chatinier leads off for Ole Miss here in the 5th inning. Was there any thought to you coming back today as Dylan DeLucia did for Ole Miss?
I had no word of that.
That one is pulled down the line and just fouled.
Mikhail, let me ask you something. The inning last night where you gave up 4, 2 outs and nobody on, right? And next thing you know, bang, 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 you give up, a capper, a strikeout that gets away from your catcher. Like when you're driving home from the park last night, you're sitting there thinking, man, how did I give up 4 with 2 outs and nobody on? How do you replay that in your mind? Are you critical on yourself? Are you rethinking pitch selection? Like, how do you process all that?
A lot of factors play into the smaller things that happen in the inning, and I rehash all of those things. I can't go to sleep at night.
I hear you, bro.
I can't go to sleep at night. But overall, I mean, knowing me, knowing how the way baseball goes, you just stick to your plan and you stick with that same mentality in the next outing. You're going to be fine. You don't try to do anything extra. You let your defense work. You stay consistent in the zone. And baseball is going to reward you for playing the game the right way, playing fundamentally sound.
Well, you've been fantastic on Friday. Now, you hadn't had a loss since 2019, so you probably don't even remember what that feels like. I got to ask you something. I'm going to go outside the box here with you, okay?
Okay.
I'm really feeling your look right now. Like I feel like you are really well put together today. Can you take me through the bling? And the glasses are matching the bling. Like, how do we set all that up?
My dad was a very fashionable guy. So I got a little bit from him. I honestly just got these glasses in this past week, so I threw them on, and I was like, Gold Dragon, that's a nice look for me for today.
So this is the network TV debut of this look with those glasses.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we've been adding some jewelry as the season's gone on. Is that true or false?
That's false. I've actually had all three.
Okay.
Three gold chain. Gold chain and the silver.
How about the ear jewelry? The earrings last night, were those new or special, or anything to tell us about those?
I've been changing it up a little bit.
Okay.
I got the cross going today.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're the best looking guy in baseball right now. This one is hit high and deep. Chatinier, another bid in that same corner, and again it's foul. 2 of those now for Peyton Chatinier.
Mikhail, it's hard to not feel the difference with Barry out of the lineup. Is that something as a team that you guys are just, next man up and we hadn't really thought about it, or is it almost tangible within the dugout right now that one of your dudes is not out there?
Well, it obviously affects the whole team. No matter what anybody says, that we're going to keep that mindset of next man up. It doesn't matter, but we all feel that pain because we've all been in situations like his where we've had to been taken out in tough positions. We know that we could go out there and help the team contribute to a win.
So you grew up in these parts. You're from Central. What's the best place to go to eat? Where do you like to hang out around Baton Rouge? I mean, you should know better than anybody.
Love Sammy's Bar and Grill. Love Walk-Ons. Love Chick-fil-A. Love Triplets Blue Store. I can keep going.
I'm going to buy stock at Chick-fil-A after this game is over.
DeLucia was talking about their tailgate. They got Chick-fil-A. We said, Chick-fil-A, come on, you got to give us something better. Now, we asked Barry what his favorite kind of food was. Have you been able to take him around, give him some taste of the bayou, so to speak?
I haven't been able to take him around, but I know these position players. They definitely go and take them around Baton Rouge and show them a little Southern hospitality.
I hear you.
Hey, how is playing for Coach Johnson different than Coach Maneri?
From a mental standpoint, I feel that Jay and Maneri are very similar. Jay is just a little bit more upfront about it and a little bit more pronounced with it, and he's made that an emphasis of this year about how we preparate, and even with the infield, as you can see that they have really good prep steps. I mean, from time to time we make errors, but if we keep along the same path of doing the same thing over and over and over, you get better and better and better at it. I feel like we're really coming together as a team. Obviously, it doesn't reflect right now with the score of the game, but we've definitely made huge strides, and we've had huge highs and we've had some lows, and playing through that makes us a better team.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, you and the team, and we thank you for your time here
Thank
today.
y'all.
Looking good, bro. Keep it up.
The well-dressed Mikhail Hilliard and his
it up.
sunglasses making the network TV debut here on the SEC Network. See you, Mikhail.
See you.
A couple of strikeouts here for Blake Money. As he gets Chatinier and Dunhurst 2 outs as Justin Bench hits. Nice young man.
Awesome.
Local favorite.
I'm in on that voice.
Yeah.
Whenever baseball taps him on the shoulder and tells him to do something else, maybe like a radio host or a DJ. I mean, that's like a real
late
voice
night.
right there. Oh, yeah.
Late night DJ. Spinning the stacks and stacks of wax. Maybe he can be on SEC Now with you sometime.
Maybe. I'd love to sit next to Mikhail.
This one hit to right off the bat of Bench. Hit deep, too, and that is going to go. Goodbye, home run. You got to be kidding me. Wow, this team is exploding here in Baton Rouge this weekend. It is 10-0 as Justin Bench leaves the yard for the 3rd time this year.
Man, I tell you what, they are making right field in this ballpark look really, really short. And Justin Bench only has a couple home runs coming into this ball game. A fastball away, he goes out and gets it. Just a bullet. Really short swing, but that ball jumped and sailed into the bleachers.
4th home run for Ole Miss in this game. And their 5th of the series. Because you remember Tim Elko hit one in game 1. th home run allowed by Blake Money. That has been an Achilles heel for him. Part of the reason he's kind of fallen out of favor as the game 2 started. That slider fouled, 1-1.
Well, and what's interesting, Clay, Chatnier hit 2 foul in his at-bat, and Dunhurst hit a pretty long one foul himself. I mean, there's been, even though he struck out Chatnier and Dunhurst, there's been some aggressive swings here in this inning.
Gonzalez, an RBI single his last time up and a run scored. Get on the hands, and that's going to get out of play. Morgan gives it a chase on that gimpy knee. Well, I don't know that I saw this coming. Shoo.
No.
Mike Bianco had breakfast with Skip Bertman yesterday. And I don't know what they talked about. I'm sure it was just more reminiscing than anything, but you know, he always picks Skip's brain. So does Jay Johnson, of course. Maybe he got something out of Skip that's working against Skip's team.
Well, the team is playing with a lot of confidence, no doubt about it. They're rocking the camo hats, which they're undefeated since they put those on. So
is that right?
Those have to have a big influence. Oh, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, DeLucia tried to get them to not wear the camo hats, and they outvoted him.
Oh. And I didn't see that in the game notes.
Yeah, they won't be taking those off anytime soon. But, you know, look, they're playing better ball. And we could feel it coming into this week, and Jay Johnson could feel it. And, I mean, they're about to get, if they can, again, finish off this ball game, they're about to get just their second series win in Baton Rouge since '82. But it also will be their second in a row, oddly enough.
Well, this will be their 6th win in a row. And we're hearing from our experts, Jeremy Mills among them, that, you know, the RPI would probably creep into the upper 30s with a win here today and a win tomorrow. They can get a sweep. That would definitely go a long way to securing a spot in the NCAA tournament. 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the number was kind of 14 to feel decent, 15 to probably feel good. And, you know, with 6 games left, you can slice that math up however you want. But if you somehow, you know, once you win 2 in a row, now you got 4 games left to win 2 or 3 more, and it becomes a lot more achievable.
2 outs, the 2-2 pitch to Gonzalez. That is lashed foul. All right, so you talked about the camo hats. That's a good vibe right now for the Rebs. But Ole Miss is 0-5 in the SEC when wearing these navy jerseys, so they may be able to get off the schneid here.
Something has to give, right?
Yeah, with this look, at least the jerseys.
The jerseys, but
not the hats.
That's
the
right.
Hats.
The hats trump the jerseys.
Maybe the hats.
We talked about pop-up communication. Like the hat trumps the jersey. See that?
To center. Backing off is Cruz, and he'll make the catch. We'll talk more about attire and other things when we come back. Did Cruz almost drop that?
Well, he was on cruise control, Clay, and then wasn't real sure how it finished.
He had it all the way.
SEC is the best conference.
It's the best baseball in America.
Diving catch. She's out of here. Teixeira bombs it away to when the crowd starts to cheer now.
Begins May 24th right here on the SEC Network. Of course, that will take us right up to Memorial Day, basically, and the selection show on ESPN2. Championship game May 29th, 3 o'clock Eastern here on the SEC Networks.
Going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Always is fun. It's such a big environment. I mean, all the teams in one spot. Yeah.
You played, a long time ago. Was it in the 1970s, 80s?
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
Way back.
You're an old man. What's your best memory when you were at Tennessee and playing in the SEC tournament?
Well, oddly enough, back in the day there was only 8 teams that got to go, and we finished 9th my first 2 years. So we had to wait. I had to wait till my junior year just to get to Hoover. And we played 2 teams that we swept. Nobody's going to get there. We played 2 teams that we swept in the regular season, Florida and Ole Miss, and we got run-ruled by both.
Ooh.
Now think about that. So I personally actually played well, but we went 2 and Q. But it gave us 5 or 6 days off. We rested up. We rested our pitching. And kind of like Mike Bianco was telling us, I don't think Coach Delmonico attacked it with the same kind of fervor that the head coaches do these days. It was a bit of a different feel around the SEC tournament. But we went back, regrouped, and ended up in Omaha. So, much like Mississippi State last year where they got run-ruled twice, went back, regrouped, and won the whole thing, it doesn't necessarily become a precursor for how you're going to play in the tournament. Similar to basketball, right? You see some teams that win their conference tournament basketball and get knocked out early, and sometimes it goes the opposite way. But it is a fun event, and once those teams are there, they're all playing to win.
That's a called strike 3. Hayden Travinski, his second strikeout as Hunter Elliott is still strong here in the 5th. He has struck out 3 in a row going back to last inning.
Man,
I was going to ask you more about that. Do you think there are some coaches that still may approach it that way? Maybe we take the foot off the gas a little bit here at Hoover and save something for the postseason?
I think there's attention to manage with a couple of your arms on the workload that some guys have had down the stretch and wanting to make sure they're fresh. But for the most part, like for instance, you might start your ace, but just say, hey, look, you're coming out after 6, like no matter what, that kind of thing. But he's still going to start, right? You're not going to run him out there 112 pitches in a Thursday SEC tournament game.
Launch to left. Gavin Dugas has 3 hits. Yep. That's going to fall in. That looked like trouble from the beginning. It was hit a mile high. Gonzalez battling the sun, maybe a little breeze to boot. And Dugas is aboard at second base.
Well, when you look at where this ball finishes, it's T.J. McCant's ball. And they get so used to Gonzalez catching everything, but that's T.J. McCant's ball. Again, we talk about these fly ball priorities. That should be you want to see the center. Kevin Graham's yelling, take it, take it. And you'd love to see the center fielder, like we've seen Dylan Cruz do half a dozen times over the last 2 days, just take ownership of that ball and get everybody out of there and finish that one off.
.969 fielding percentage for Ole Miss. Only LSU is worse in the SEC, so Ole Miss has had its struggles in the field too. 3rd hit for Dugas. That's a clean double.
It reads well in the box score the next day.
Here's Josh Pearson now with 1 out. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Okay.
All right, Ole Miss trailed LSU 9-1 last year.
Oh, boy.
In Oxford. I think it was a Sunday, right? Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Came back to win. Kemp Olderman, of course, hit a walk-off home run to win it 10-9. Just saying, maybe LSU can do something like that today. It seems like it's a lost cause, but there's a lot of baseball left in this one.
A lot.
Oh, my. That hit him. Up on the shoulder blades. Pearson wears it. And now 2 on, 1 out. As Elliott is losing control here in the 5th.
Well, if you want to make a dent in this lead in your LSU, is that one will not feel good in the morning for Josh Pearson. But how about don't catch a pop-up and then hit a dude in front of Dylan Cruz. And next thing you know, the best hitter in this LSU lineup has a chance to get the Tigers on the board.
Last year and this year, the numbers almost identical in a lot of ways. I mean, the average is very good again this year. The runs are good. The home run number will probably be over what he hit last year, a freshman record. Dylan Cruz, not only great numbers, but he sustains those numbers.
Oh, he's been incredibly productive. It's been from the day he stepped on campus, and the power production over 2 years is why he's going to be a top 5 pick. When you talk about the SEC tournament, you get down there and you got all the best dudes. If you're a fan, you got all the best dudes in one place, right? Like if you're in Oxford, you didn't get to see Dylan Cruz play in person. You go to the SEC tournament, you can sit there and watch all the best players in the league, and I think that's why it's the most heavily scouted tournament in amateur baseball, because we all know the SEC has the most players in the big leagues, and you want to talk about a place that is crawling with GMs and scouting directors. Go to Hoover, because you're going to see so many guys that will one day play in the major leagues.
2-0 fastball, just below the knees. All right, so you've got Dylan Cruz.
Yeah.
You've got Jacob Gonzalez.
Yeah.
You've got Enrique Bradfield Jr. All are expected to be first-round picks next year in the draft, in 2023. Who do you take first?
I'm taking Bradfield Jr. If you made me answer today, I'm taking Bradfield Jr. just because I think his skill set is harder to find than the other two. Now, you're sitting there going, wait a second, you got a 30 home run a year guy that can play center field and the guy that can hit 20 home runs and play shortstop. I get it. But the prototype game-changing, base-running, fly ball tracking, and looks like he's starting to develop juice, and we know he can steal 30, 40, 50 bases. Like that dude's not laying around on street corners anymore in Major League Baseball.
Walks Cruz, and now the base is loaded for Cade Doughty, who's had a very difficult time in the field with a couple of costly errors, but he can make amends with a big swing here.
Yeah, this would be a way to get back on the right side of the ledger, so to speak. Nobody would feel better about a big swing of the bat than he would right here.
Mike Bianco hasn't had to go out to the mound much in this series, but he's going out now. Activity in the bullpen. As Josh Mallett's sophomore right-hander getting loose. Don't forget Rally Cap coming up Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern on the SEC Network. It's back tomorrow night after Alabama-Auburn baseball right here on the SEC Network. A lot to recap. Of course, many big series in the SEC in baseball. And, of course, the SEC softball tournament going on in Gainesville.
A great time to turn on the SEC now and Rally Cap, because, trying to figure out all the comings and goings with how all these results impact what's going to happen in Hoover and what ends up being the seeding arrangement when you get to the SEC tournament. It's ever-changing right about now. And, of course, the softball tournament, we got the selection show coming up for the girls here shortly.
This game could change with one big swing from Doughty. 10 home runs on the year for Cade. 2 pitches that miss way wide. It's 2-0. And now you got to be real careful here if you're Hunter Elliott.
Yeah, but you're up 10. This is not a time to nibble. Put the fingers down on the pitch you trust the most and throw it with confidence. Worst thing that happens, you still got a 6-run lead.
Just missed. Down and in.
Yeah, this is, you've already had a meeting from the skipper. If this one goes wide, I don't know that we'll see Hunter Elliott face Jordan Thompson.
The co-SEC freshman of the week running into trouble here in the 5th. Bases loaded, nowhere to put him. A 3-0 count to Doughty. There's a strike. It's been a weird year for Ole Miss. That was the first weekly conference award for the Rebels this season, the one that Elliott won.
Wow, didn't it?
Yeah. Ground ball to short. Gonzalez to second for 1. Won't get the double play and a run scores. But Elliott gets it out.
Yeah, just, Doty runs really well, and this ball just wasn't quite hit hard enough. It also looked like Cruz got into Chatinier a little bit, kind of prevented him from getting. No, he didn't contact him. That was clean. Just not hard enough hit to get the speedy Doty.
We'll bring up Thompson with runners at the corners. Thompson a strikeout looking and a flyout. When we were talking to Jay Johnson in his office yesterday morning, Thompson was brought up a lot. His offense, certainly, they need to have him swinging it well for them to get to Omaha.
Yeah.
But defensively is where they really need him to pick up his game.
No doubt. And, the coaching staff's tried a lot of different things. Ultimately, he's their most capable shortstop. So he's the one that gets the opportunity to run out there every day, and very talented with the bat. But that shortstop position, just such a demanding position defensively. They have to have him play better if they're going to reach their potential, and Doty as well.
Last year he committed 15 errors in 62 games at shortstop. Already has 16 in 50 games. By far the most in the SEC, but in his defense, a lot of those errors came in the earlier part of the year. He has cut way down on those. So that's good for the Tigers. Down and away. Elliott trying to battle through in the 5th inning here. He's got a big lead. Coming off a game where he struck out 9 in a career-high 7 innings. That win over Mizzou last week. Gets a pop-up here. Calling for it is Chatinier, the second baseman. Now it'll be Elko to actually catch it. Really did.
Yeah, I know. They don't have to hurt you. I always used to think about that. Pitchers, you listen to pitchers talk about, well, if we just make that play. And it's like, well, just because we didn't make that play doesn't mean you had to give up a 3-run homer or whatever. right? But, man, it's just one of those things that more often than not, they come back to bite you, especially against a talented offensive team.
Think Jay Johnson is sick of Tim Elko yet?
Yes.
Yeah, he faced him, of course, in the Tucson Super last year. Had to deal to him. And now he's really coming alive here in this series. Has a couple of home runs. He had to laugh. He said, it seems like Tim Elko has been in college baseball for 7 years.
He almost has. The captain, he wears that C well. This young man's everything that's right about college sports. He just a bright light and one heck of a ball player, and he has put together an incredible run here over the last 2 years.
What's his prospect for getting a chance at the next level?
Well, you'd think somebody's going to give him a chance, Big corner infielder. I don't think he could play the outfield, but certainly could play first base, and has all kinds of history of big-time power production in the best league in college baseball. So you figure somebody gives him a chance. What he's got going against him is his age, right? He's older, so he's starting his clock, so to speak, late. But heck, in today's world, somebody puts you in a full season, you go there and rake, and next thing you know, you're in Double-A and you go there and rake. I mean, is it too late to get to the big leagues at 26 years old? I don't think so. I think sometimes being a little old, too much is made of it.
And he strikes out here. And Blake Money now with 4 strikeouts. And Kevin Graham, who has a home run as well, and a couple of hits in this game, comes back to the plate. Swings at the first pitch. Lofts it behind the first base bag into the corner and right.
Coming back.
And that's going to land foul. Good effort there by Pearson. You know, you talked about a lot of foul ground here at Alex Box Stadium. That is the one part of the ballpark, the corner over there, and actually the corner and left too, where you do run out of room pretty quick.
Yeah, and you know he's dealing with the boundary there. That ball actually hit his glove. It looked like early he maybe didn't treat that one with the urgency. He does have the glasses on now, by the way, which is always helpful. He didn't maybe treat that one with the urgency. That ball looked like it was headed for the seats, but kind of drifted back into play.
Alex Box Stadium opened in 2009 as Graham strikes out for the second straight time. Five o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. We've played a lot of baseball today. Started here at 11 a.m. for the resumption of Game 1, which Ole Miss won. Here's the SEC West standings. See LSU at 14-11, still in the hunt.
Yep.
You know, with a weekend to play in the regular season. Ole Miss at 11-14 after the win earlier today. Alderman fouls it back. Talking about Alex Box Stadium. Opened in 2009. The field was dedicated in Skip Bertman's honor 9 years ago this week, before the Ole Miss series. So Mike Bianco could be here for it and help honor his coach. We understand that there's a facelift coming to this place. Jay Johnson was telling us a little bit about it, and it's a possibility that they start doing that as early as next year. They're hopeful. Fly ball. Alderman is out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Blake. Let's hope it is not a contact lens. Here's Trey Morgan. Had a hit his last time up. Gets around on that one foul. Here's another guy who's considered one of the top prospects for 2023. Not as high as some of those other guys we talked about, Dylan Cruz included.
Yeah,
but
he's an interesting prospect.
He will be back next year for LSU. That's huge.
Yeah, like what, I don't think he sticks at first base, even though he's fantastic defensively. I just don't, we haven't seen that kind of power production from him. But he definitely can handle the bat, and he's athletic enough to play, I think, probably anywhere in the outfield. Certainly would help you at first base. And I will say this, the bat-to-ball skill is more highly valued now than it was, say, 5 years ago. From that standpoint, he's very interesting.
Here's Hunter Elliott, who battled through the fifth inning. Had the bases loaded at one point. Ended up giving up a run, but kind of like the way he has come back and pitched again today after a really good outing last week against Missouri. Certainly getting a lot of run support and getting it early, helping him relax. Anything to help relax when you're a freshman on the mound, he'll take it, and he's responded really well.
Well, one of the reasons he's out there on the weekends is because Mike Bianco will tell you he just doesn't respond to things like you would think a freshman would. Like bases loaded last inning, you never saw bad body language. It never looked like he thought he was in trouble.
Elko's got it. He'll step on the bag ahead of Morgan, one down.
And it's those kinds of things that really go a long way when coaches are making those decisions between player A and player B. So much of it is makeup, mentality, maturity, accountability. He certainly checks those boxes.
Tyler McManus hit by a pitch and a strikeout, trying to extend his hitting streak to 7 games.
He can throw that changeup, Clay. He turns that changeup over The breaking ball still has a ways to go. And we talked about Doug Nikhazy, the All-American left-hander for Ole Miss that was there over the last few years. He's not quite there yet because he doesn't spin the breaking ball the way Nikhazy did, but the ability to throw that changeup kind of any time in any count with a fastball that's a little firmer than the radar gun says, that alone is why he's able to be so successful already in his young career.
Mike Bianco was yesterday. He was like, people are coming up to me and going, "You're like lefty You've got so many great lefties," because they had Nikhazy last year. They've got this Hilliard kid this year.
Back in the day. Yeah.
We got 2 lefties on our team right now.
Like at all, 2 of them. Of course, Ryan Rollison. They've had the ones they've had have been very, very good.
Idea of pitch. Gets McManus to strike out for the second time, 2 down.
And it looks like Hunter Elliott is going to follow suit with the lefties we just named. You talk about pulling the string on a changeup. I mean, that one, even though it kind of cut back down and in, McManus just did not recognize that pitch at all.
Two down for Drew Bianco. When Drew comes to the plate, can't help but think of the home run he had 3 years ago. A pinch hit home run right here at Alex Box Stadium against his dad's team. Flipped the bat. Remember that? And it was on his birthday.
Is that right?
His
I don't remember that
52nd
part.
birthday, no less.
Oh, it was on Mike's birthday.
Yeah,
okay.
Mike's birthday.
Drew hadn't been here that long.
That's probably why he got a first pitch changeup.
No doubt.
Yeah. Alabama and Auburn tied at 4 in the 7th inning.
Auburn came back, huh? That was 4-0 early.
Yeah. Tigers, they have a chance to be a top 8. They are getting better as the season goes on. Meanwhile, Alabama's postseason hopes have completely, almost evaporated. Mm-hmm. I guess they're still there, but very much fading fast. I mean, they swept Ole Miss, took a game from #1 Tennessee a month ago. It looked like things were going in the right direction, but they've lost 4 SEC series in a row, and it doesn't look good in this one.
No. And Auburn now has added on another one, 5-4 now. Auburn over Alabama. And Mississippi State, Texas A&M, 5-4. So we got some close ones over there in the West.
South Carolina beat Kentucky before we came on the air here on the SEC Network. Kentucky, they maybe shot all their bullets last weekend in the series win over Tennessee. Now they've lost a series to South Carolina, and they're in trouble just to make the SEC tournament.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like Missouri's going to miss. Again, there's still enough games, but it looks like Missouri at just 7 wins, and then it becomes kind of a 2-horse race between Mississippi State and Kentucky for that last spot.
We ground ball. Bianco is out. It's a 1-2-3 inning.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
And you're absolutely correct. The box used to really, really stand out, and I still think the box is, the box on a Friday or Saturday night is special as any place in the league. But man, Baum Stadium and Duty Noble and Swayze and even Lindsey Nelson now in Knoxville, the way those fans are going crazy. Of course, we've seen Founders Park in South Carolina have some incredible atmospheres.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, yeah.
Great.
Bluebell Park can get rocking and rolling with all their chants.
T.J. McCants to center. 1 out. We were talking about Alex Box Stadium and some potential renovations that are on the way. It was interesting to listen to Jay Johnson. He's so excited about his new job, but he's got such a calm, understated approach the way he talks to us as media members. But he got excited about talking about the future of Alex Box Stadium.
Yeah, I think they're a ways away from exactly nailing down what that will look like, but they are having conversations about, look, I mean, if your eyes are open and you're an LSU fan, you're sitting there going, hey, why does everybody else have these outfield grill areas where they can hang out and kind of essentially tailgate while they watch the game? And you don't see a big student kind of area here like you do Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and of course Alabama's even built that place. Tennessee's got one down the right field line now. Like, there's some things now that other places in the league have that LSU doesn't have. There's no berm area here like you see at Baum out in left field where everybody's grilling out. And I think now with the SEC Network showcasing all of these beautiful additions that people have made around the league, I think there's some LSU fans. Definitely think there's some momentum around this program to do some things, especially in the outfield here. I mean, you look from center field in, and the box is still world class, right? But as it pertains to the outfield area, they are. Look at that view right there. I mean, that is as grand as you'll see in college baseball. Just a beautiful shot right there. But metal bleachers in the outfield with no places for grill outs or students. It feels like it's time for them to make that change.
Leatherwood into center field for a base hit with one out. So every single starter for Ole Miss has a hit. There's left center. And you see that there's room out there to do some things. It's kind of like a blank canvas out there. A lot of times when you look at possible renovations or expansions that you want to do, you can't do it because of existing structures or whatever that might be in the way. Maybe a road or a train track, for crying out loud. LSU doesn't have that.
No.
They've got a blank canvas out there.
No doubt. And I think talking to Mike Bianco about it too, like one of the things that they really need to think about is the bullpens are so close to the foul line, right? And those bullpens, we know Josh Hall from Auburn got hurt. Drew Bianco got hurt running into one of those bullpens. I mean, if you're running full speed as a corner outfielder into one of those bullpens, there's some stuff that can go wrong. And, most people now have the bullpens out behind the outfield wall.
This is hammered into left field. Shifted over was Dugas. And so all he can do is play it off the wall. It's a double with one out for Chatinier. Leatherwood and Chatinier back-to-back hits here in the seventh.
So, I think that's probably on their radar. And then, we don't even talk about the new $27 million player facility that Arkansas built. Of course, Ole Miss built one just a couple years ago that's right in that same neighborhood.
Right. Dunhurst has swung it well in this series. Big 2-run hit in game one. And a 2-run blast here in this one. 5th home run of the year. He's going to foul this one off. Dunhurst had a thumb injury last year, kept him from swinging a bat until January of 2022. And then he also had a hamstring early in the season. So this has not been a healthy Hayden Dunhurst for a good portion of the calendar year.
Yeah, always tough when you miss the fall. That's
well, that's called strike 3. 3rd time he has struck out since the home run. 2 down.
Boy, that's a nice job by Schaefer. Coming out of the bullpen and just paint. Fastball, fastball, fastball. Doing a nice job of getting that ball away to Dunhurst. That was a nice start to his outing.
3 pitches, 1 out for Schaefer. And now back to the top of the order in Justin Bench. Homered his last time up. It's been a 4-home run game for the Ole Miss Rebels. They now have 82 on the year. And what did Jay Johnson tell us again? Got to keep him in the ballpark in this series, or we're gonna have a tough time of it.
I mean, man, he told us. I mean, he's just, you could see it. And every coach is always on edge before every weekend series, right? Because they all respect their opponents so much. But Jay Johnson had a feeling that this Ole Miss team was starting to click on all cylinders.
2-0 fastball ripped into the gap, but there is Dylan Cruz, and that is the 3rd out. So Leatherwood and Chatinier stranded. So now Gavin Dugas. We were talking about the NCAA tournament. And the top 16 seeds of the tournament started today. It's going to be heavily dominated, it appears. Now, things are going to potentially change the next few weekends, that the SEC and the ACC will be well represented. You've got 12 teams, 6 from each of those leagues in the RPI top 20.
Yes. There's as many as 13 of the SEC and ACC teams that are in position to host. Now, I don't think by any means that'll be the case, but as far as teams that have a chance going into this weekend as Dugas goes down swinging, and man, Hunter Elliott, what a run he's been on as he continues to just make pitches. Now his third straight start, right, of at least 6 innings and 7 strikeouts. That's pretty big-time stuff for a freshman on the backside of his first year in this league.
That's his 8th strikeout, and it came on his 101st pitch. Here's Pearson at the plate now. Got to believe that this might be the last inning, though, for Elliott, and they would give someone else some work. The good thing is, though, Elliott has gone deep again, and they have saved the bullpen, which has been really good for Ole Miss as of late.
Yes, this first part of the series couldn't have gone any better.
That bullpen for Ole Miss last week against Missouri allowed just 2 earned runs in 11 innings. Mallets has been loosening up for a while down there in the Ole Miss pen.
I'd say he's ready.
It's been like 4 innings worth of warming up.
Now, when Coach Bianco comes out of the dugout to get him, if he does do it in the middle of an inning, we don't need to get to the mound before he's called, right? Like, it should be a rule. Just call him as you step out of the dugout.
Yeah, if they're really concerned about pace of play, they would take that into consideration.
That part of the game, more than the pitch clock and all that kind of stuff, like, to me, that part of the game actually could shave some real minutes.
So Elliott sitting at 8 strikeouts. He hit his career high last week against Missouri. He's already got Pearson once swinging. That was in the first inning. The 1-2. Got him. And he's tied a career home run last night in Game 1. Dylan Cruz, 17 home runs, hit 18 last year, an LSU freshman record. He has been dynamite in the field. Now, when you hear the term five-tool player, five-tool talent, Dylan Cruz strikes me as one of those kind of guys. Explain to everybody what the 5 tools are.
Well, you got hit and hit for power. Then you got run, and you got defense, and you got arm. Right? So
this is launched into the corner and right. It's carrying deep. Leatherwood back there in this series. They can wrap up the series with a couple of good innings here, leading 10-1. Very comfortable position here with Gonzalez leading off the top of the 8th. A win will be their 12th in league play. They would be 12-14 with 4 regular season games to go. And they've got a series against Texas A&M next weekend in Oxford. Now, the Aggies are playing well too.
Yeah, and to actually finish this series off tomorrow is going to take their best effort of the weekend, because LSU, you better believe it, this is a proud program, a world-class coaching staff, and a team that has proven that they can play with their backs against the wall throughout the course of the season. And there's a reason they haven't swept here in since 64, 60, or never. They've never swept here, Ole Miss. And so it's going to take a big-time effort tomorrow if they're going to get that done, because LSU is playing for a bunch, and they don't want tomorrow to be the last time they play at home this year.
Ground ball for Gonzalez. Nicely played by Schaefer. Oh, thrown in the dirt. Morgan can't dig it out. On his way to second is Gonzalez. And he's going to hold at second. That is another error for the LSU defense. That is 3 now. I believe that's going to be an error. Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. How many times have we seen it? A pitcher who, can throw a dart right to the outside corner, but just gets a little yippy when throwing that ball to first base. Trey Morgan does all he can to try to stretch and dig that one out, but Schaefer just throws a lawn dart, and Gonzalez gets an extra 2 bases, really.
Here's Elko. Hit that home run in the first inning to get the scoring started in Game 2, and Ole Miss never has looked back. The 1-1 to Elko. Nice pluck there by Travinski. He made that look easy. And it wasn't.
No, that was a really tough catch.
Interesting how many day games there were today as we see Travinski reach across his body to pick that one from going to the backstop, looking like a first baseman over there saving an infielder an error.
Ground ball to short. Elko is out as Gonzalez goes to third. Let's look at some scores from the SEC. We were talking about Texas A&M. They'll be going to Oxford next week to take on Ole Miss. 6-6 in the top of the 8th inning, tied with Mississippi State. And Texas A&M still in the hunt to maybe be a top 8 national seed.
Yeah,
and Auburn breaks Alabama's heart again. And 3-2 yesterday, 6-4 today. Missouri trying to hold on against the Gators. They're trying to scratch their way into Hoover.
Graham hits it hard into right field. That's a base hit. It's going to score a run. Gonzalez comes across with the 11th run today for Ole Miss. And that is the 3rd hit for Graham. 2nd run batted in.
Guy can hit, man. Dude's a barrel. You throw a strike, he's going to find the barrel. And another unearned
I was
run.
just going to say that. And the defense has really let LSU down today. Alderman at the plate. That's a good move.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was close. It is so tough to read lefties sometimes, and Schaefer is a good move.
Yeah, Graham wasn't even going anywhere. This is just look how close he is to the base. He just started to get his secondary. Not quite as close as it would have looked, but a good throw. That might have been really, really close.
Graham with 12 hits in the last 5 games, nearly picked off at first. Well, boy, I can't say it again enough, I don't think. Graham just has changed the feel of this team.
No doubt.
He's been healthy now for about a month, and he's in the form that he was in before the injury to his wrist.
And the form we've grown accustomed to seeing here in his time in Oxford. you miss a month, there's going to be a acclimation until you start playing at the level that you're accustomed to. They plugged him just right back in the cleanup spot and hoped for the best because that's just kind of what they needed him to do. But truth is, it took him a couple weeks, and it was obvious last weekend he started to lock it in, and he has rolled it right over into this weekend.
LSU looking ahead. They're going to host Northwestern State on Tuesday. They'll be at Vanderbilt next weekend. Then the SEC tournament in Hoover, where the Tigers always do well. They've won it 12 times.
Is that all?
They've won that tournament 12 times. Not all of them have been in Hoover, but they've won that tournament 12 times. And that's more than anybody else in the league.
That's pretty wild.
Ooh, that hit him. Yes, it did. It hit him, and I think it hit the umpire, too. Derek Malika seems to be shaken up a bit.
Off the forearm of McCants, and then off the looked like the foot of Malika behind the plate.
A lot of base runners today for Ole Miss.
Yeah, there's been a lot of action on the base pass, that's for sure.
Trent Vittmeyer working now, the LSU pen. TJ McCants has been on a couple of times, has an RBI single. Leatherwood at the plate. Singled his last time up as well. Two down here in the 8th inning for Ole Miss. Already a blowout. It's been kind of Ole Miss's game for a long time, since the 4th inning when they scored 5 times. Lofted to left field. Dugas got turned around a little bit. Now he makes the catch. That'll do it in the 8th. 7.5 in the book. When you were in the majors and you played the outfield, did you talk to the fans quite a bit?
All the time.
Did you?
All the time, Clay. I remember my rookie year, we were in Camden Yards, and it was a rain delay game, and so there was not a ton of people there, so you could kind of hear everything everybody was saying, you know what I mean? And
for better or worse?
For worse in this case. I was 0 for my last 15, I think, and the guy in the front row, I was playing left field. The guy in the front row left field seats was overserved for sure, and he was having a lot of fun at my expense. So finally, about the 7th inning, 8th inning, there was a pitching change. He had said my name so many times. Finally, I turned around. I just was going to play along. He goes, Burke, he's just yelling, Burke, look back here, Burke. So finally, I turned around and looked at him. He goes, you think you can hit 200 this year?
Oh, no.
And
Stevenson strikes out looking one down.
I said, well, I'm going to have to get hot. And he thought that was the greatest line ever. Next thing you know, they were my biggest fans. They came back the next day and rooted for me.
Oh, it was great. So just, one thing I learned about playing in the outfield is if you have some fun with the folks, they'll usually come around to being friendly.
Kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. That's it.
Luke Lito is going to pinch hit here. Hitting for Jordan Thompson. So I think I asked you this here in game 2. I can't remember now. The first game and the second game kind of bleed together. Who's LSU going to run out there for game 3 tomorrow? Your best guess. Is it Dutton? I think that's who you said. I just can't remember if it was this game or last game.
To me, you're going – if you're Jay Johnson, you're going Samuel Dutton, and then you're going – if you need Cooper for a matchup situation. But, at that point, you're going Raiselman and Gervais. Mm-hmm. Like you were firing all your best bullets multiple innings tomorrow. You're all in for the Game 3 win tomorrow.
They also have Hasty available.
Yeah, Hasty's been really good. And maybe they'll start Hasty. They haven't really said that, but it feels like a must-win tomorrow if you're an LSU Tiger and have plans on being a top 8 seed.
Swung on and missed. Lito goes down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Mallets. 2 outs here in the 8th.
The thought of having to go to Vandy and sweep, I don't like the prospects of having to do that to be a top 8 seed. So if you win tomorrow and win 2 out of 3 at Vandy, and you finish the conference slate with 17 wins, I think you're right on the verge of being somewhere in that 8 to 11 range, and maybe a strong showing in Hoover pushes you over the top.
Trey Morgan's 1 for 3. Hasty, by the way, 3 appearances last week, got 2 wins over 6 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys in the bullpen pitching really well for the Tigers right now.
They just got off to such a slow start in this game. They were down so much, and the offense never made a run that they couldn't really ever fire those bullets,
Boy, Jay Johnson really a fan of the transfer portal now. A lot of coaches didn't know how they were going to like it or how they were going to use it, have become fans. You think about Raiselman, you think about Cooper, think about Barry. Transferring here to LSU and allowing him to get off on the right foot. Now, this weekend hasn't gone well so far, but all in all, it's been a really good first year for Jay Johnson.
Oh, without a doubt. And again, they only won 13 conference games last year.
Yeah, they're already ahead of that pace. That's a team that went to the Super Regionals. Three balls and 1 strike to Trey Morgan. 3-2. 94 miles an hour from Mallets.
I've been impressed with Mallets. Ball getting out of his hand. We've seen a really good changeup and a breaking ball. Fastball's been up to 95.
LSU has a new baseball coach this year. They're going to have a new football coach on the gridiron. Tiger Stadium across the way. You ever seen a game there, by the way?
I have never seen a game in person.
That's got to be on your bucket list
for sure.
Yeah. New basketball coach. Ed Orgeron, I loved him. I loved listening to him do interviews. But I think Brian Kelly is going to do well at LSU.
My 9-year-old loved that go down.
No, but it was, I'm surprised it wasn't on SportsCenter's top 10. It was an LSU game, as it happens.
That's what I've been told. High-end athletic play.
It was.
Showing off your range.
Foul ball came right straight back over the netting into the press box. One-handed grab on a foul ball.
Just stuck it?
It was scorched. I think Alex Bregman hit it. It had an exit velo of about a 110 going backwards, and I caught it.
KP even get a hand up?
No. He was diving for cover.
He was under the desk.
He was protecting himself.
Sounds about right.
I didn't break a sweat.
No. Did you even interrupt your sentence? Just keep on talking.
I kept right on talking, and then Paul Maneri asked for an autograph after the game. He did. He pointed right at me after
Did
the
he?
game. Yeah.
Did you sign it to him?
No.
Charge him?
I didn't charge him. Giovanni DiGiacomo getting a pinch hit appearance here late. It's been a difficult season for him. He was a regular in the lineup a lot last year. He hasn't been in the lineup very much at all lately. And he swings and misses here. It's a strikeout. So we go to the ninth. 11-1 Rebels. The Ole Miss Rebels have played like a team that is in desperation mode. And I guess they are. You know, their postseason hopes were kind of fading there for a while, but now they're coming back to life, leading 11-1, and they're on the precipice of doing something historic. Ole Miss hasn't won back-to-back series at Alex Box Stadium since 1964 and 65. Or I should say in Baton Rouge.
Who was president then?
Let's see. That would be Lyndon Baines Johnson.
From the great state of Texas?
He was from Texas. His wife was Lady Bird. And, they could set themselves up for a 3-game sweep, too, which they've never done. So Trent Vittmeyer coming in to pitch. Josh Stevenson stays in the game in left field. Luke Lito is at first base. DeGoss moves to second. And Cranford is now at short. Shotnier, Dunhurst, and Bench, the scheduled hitters here in the ninth. And I said this earlier with Dylan DeLucia. I think he's going to be the MVP of this weekend for Ole Miss.
Sticking with it?
I am. To do what he did, to get that win in Game 1 over parts of 2 days, to come back and pitch again today and pitch well, really set up Ole Miss. I think they fed off his momentum.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, what he gave them is hard to quantify.
Popped up on the infield. Vittmeyer pointing it out. Cranford is going to call for it and make the catch. All right, to see the conclusion of this game, we want you to go to SEC Plus and the ESPN app. Now we're going to send you to Oxford for the SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championship. So long, everybody.
Harris, the pitcher.
We're going to continue here on SEC Plus. Calvin Harris, backup catcher for the Rebels, going to pinch hit with one out in the ninth. This is a catcher that they really like.
Yeah, he can swing it. No, there's no question about it. Not only can he catch, but he can swing it as well. High hopes for Mr. Harris.
319, a homer, 13 runs batted in. They're going to lose Hayden Dunhurst likely. He gets drafted. I guess there's a chance he could come back because he hasn't had the year that maybe he had hoped. But if they do lose him, to have Harris moving into that spot, talking to Mike Bianco, they don't feel like they're losing much.
No, I mean, definitely a high confidence level in what Harris can give them behind the plate.
The 1-2. Toward the line there. And that's another out, 2 down.
Stevenson in left field.
Justin Bench Got that home run in the 5th inning, his 3rd of the year. One of 4 homers in this game for Ole Miss, and he hits this one pretty well. Stevenson's got that one as well. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Vittmeyer, and LSU down to its last 3 outs. Back in a moment. It's 3 outs away from winning this series, taking game 2. It's 11-1 as LSU hits in the 9th. Drew Bianco to lead it off. You know, Jay Johnson said he wouldn't do it, but it would have been kind of cool to see Bianco pitch last half inning.
Perfect.
But it didn't happen. He has played every position except pitcher in his LSU career. This one's popped up. Mallett's still on the mound for Ole Miss. For LSU in this series so far, just 8 hits. They had 3 in the first game, 5 in the second game. They're 5 for 29 here in game 2. That's a 172 average. Been on base with 3 walks, but they have struck out 12 times.
No, it has not been pretty offensively, and we knew Jacob Berry being out would be a difference maker, but man, it just feels like this lineup is just lacks energy, lacks momentum. I don't know. Not playing at a very high level.
Well, even when we talked to Mikhail Hilliard, he mentioned it, that yeah, the team does feel a little bit different without their star hitter, Jacob Berry, who they hope to get back really soon, but he's just not quite there yet. It's a pain tolerance thing. They could play him. In fact, he could hit right-handed. But
what they don't want is a setback.
That's right.
When he plays, they want him to be ready to play for the home stretch. I would bet, I think there's probably a decent chance he plays tomorrow, but I'm guessing he's playing by next weekend, just based on the way it seems like it's trending.
I should say that he could hit left-handed because it's his right hand that has the injury.
Right, but I think the bottom hand.
It's the bottom hand
that works better. So I think they would.
It is right.
Yeah, I think right-handed is the way they feel most comfortable right now.
Bianco's going to get to first. So the leadoff man here on in the 9th. There's Jacob Berry, .395 batting average in conference play, leads the league. A right hand injured May 6th against Alabama before the game.
Yes.
And then went out and got 2 hits.
Just taking ground balls. But they said it just really swelled up on him. And then, of course, they got it x-rayed, and there's a minor fracture in there. And now it's just a matter of letting that swelling go down and allowing for him to be able to play at his normal level without the opportunity of maybe a setback that would take him out for the rest of the year.
On Tuesday, he had it wrapped up much more. Just basically a Band-Aid on it now, so that's a good sign. Want to know to Hayden Travinsky. Calvin Harris, of course, new catcher for Ole Miss. Came on as a pinch hitter last inning. Nice block there by Harris. So the Tennessee Volunteers are the outright champs in the SEC. They wrapped that up yesterday by virtue of a win and Arkansas loss. Today they get beat by Georgia, but they haven't had too many losses this year, in conference or otherwise, and what a year. Going into the final weekend of the regular season next week, and already conference champs. There have been a lot of years in the SEC where it's come down not only the final weekend, but the final day before a conference champion's been crowned.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play that next weekend at Mississippi State. I would suspect they don't want to lose their edge. They did some interesting things this weekend. You know, they threw Chase Dolander game 1, which he hadn't thrown game 1 all year. They threw Blade Tidwell again in game 2. They started Ben Joyce today. They used their 2 freshman All-American starters, Burns and Beam.
Hit hard. McCants covers a lot of ground, gets to it for the first out.
They used both Chase Burns and Drew Beam out of the bullpen. Beam, I think, got the loss in today's game, which I'm sure that was awkward for him. He's been Sunday starter the whole year, and then he goes out there and pitches. So they're doing some interesting things to try to kind of limit some of the workload with some of their starters because they have the opportunity to do so. But on top of that, you got a Mississippi State team that's going to be playing to just try to figure out their way into Hoover. So that'll be interesting. But not a normal position for any team in this league to be in where you've clinched with still a weekend to play.
It's been a 3-hit game for Gavin Dugas. Single in the first, a single in the third, and had a bloop double in the second, and he came around to score. That is the only run that LSU has in this game, too. Really, he's been the only offense. His 3 of the 5 hits.
Yeah, I mean, it has been rough sledding for this LSU offense today. They had the 1 bases loaded opportunity in the inning where he hit the pop-up double, then Pearson got hit by a pitch, and Cruz walked, and Elliott was able to wiggle out of it.
Popped up. Elko coming over. He'll make the catch.
Hit a homer in each game, so you certainly don't want to overlook that.
Runner goes. No throw. I wonder if Mike can grow a beard that thick.
I was just thinking the same thing.
That is a professional beard. I will agree with you on that.
Pearson looking for his first hit of the game. The 0-2. Hit to left. Going back. Graham makes the catch on the warning track, and that does it. Domination. LSU wins it 11-1.